September the 26th. That is a day we must remember forever. In fact, maybe there should be a national holiday, September the 26th, because the news was absolutely spectacular. All day long, not only on the sports shows, but on regular TV. They played the Packer loss to the Seahawks in the end zone, blaming it on the referees because the referees were right there, and the Packer guy gets pushed by the Seahawk guy, and then Jennings, the Packer cornerback, he intercepts the pass clear as day. So they give it to the Seahawks. They say the Seahawks just scored a touchdown, where there was a penalty that absolutely prevents the catch. And then the catch is made by the Packers, not by the Seahawks. Anyway, after the league says, well, you just saw, this is like a replay of the Rodney King case. You just saw that the Seahawks really won the game. This is the official NFL statement on television. And then tonight, bingo, we got the refs back, because obviously that was a crazy call that should have been overturned. That's the point. It's like, okay, if it was the old days before they had the replays, then that was that. But no, this was reviewed, and they still kept it wrong. And then the league told everybody what was wrong was right. And then bingo, they hired the guys back. They broke the lockout. So the referees are back in business. That's the news of the day today. Now, the point of this is how stupid and ignorant the American public is. Remember the Rodney King case? Good. Remember the Sandusky case, where here's this guy raping kids in the shower at Penn State. And he's seen by this coach, redheaded McQuarrie, who tells Paterno, the god of football coaches in college, right? Paterno at Penn State won more games than any other coach of all time. He's renowned. He tells the athletic director and the president of the college, so now we have the top people at Penn State covering up this rape by Sandusky, who goes on to keep raping more and more. Okay? They look the other way. It comes out. You know, I mean, it's like, okay, how absurd could Paterno be? It's stupid. Of all these people now, how idiotic could they possibly be, where they had absolutely nothing to gain by covering up Sandusky and everything to lose as they did. Okay? When it came out. When Sandusky gets busted and convicted, then it comes out about Paterno and the whole works. Well, today, again, September the 26th, Maria Bartiromo interviews Angelides, and he's this big shot guy that headed up this commission about the fraud going on Wall Street. And she asks him about, is it too hard to convict these criminals on Wall Street? And he just goes on and on. You know, he doesn't have a real answer one way or the other, which is simple. Of course, it's not hard to convict. It's simple. The evidence is right there. Okay? This is just a complete corrupt cover-up fiasco in plain view, just like the John Corzine case. In plain view, he ripped off this money from the MF Global accounts. Private accounts, segregated accounts, held at the bank, segregated. Doesn't matter. None of these things matter. Okay? They rescinded the rule right away. I mean, listen, this is so obvious and simple, and yet John Corzine walking around, okay, completely protected by law enforcement, by the entire government, by the Congress of the United States, and by the courts. What about speedy trials? What about Jared Loughner, the guy that shoots 12 people in a parking lot? 6 of them get murdered, right? And one of them is a congresswoman. So what's up? Okay, is he nuts? Of course he's nuts. Who would do such a thing if they weren't completely nuts? Did he know he was doing the wrong thing at the time? So what? Let him say he was insane, but he's still guilty. He's not guilty for reason of insanity, like Lorena Bobbitt really was. Okay, she flipped out completely and cut the guy's prick off, okay, and ran out of the house with it right in her hand and threw it out of the car window. Okay? Yeah. She was completely off her rocker for the moment. She was temporarily insane. Is she going to do that again? No. Okay? So, Loughner, he's not getting out of prison. Ever. So, why wouldn't they just take him to trial? I mean, there's nothing complicated about it. Why don't they give him a speedy trial? Nobody gets a speedy trial in America. It's in the Constitution. Okay? If you're going to arrest somebody, you should know why. You should have evidence. Probable cause. You don't just, oh, I think, let's see, I'll pick this guy. Okay, Jared Loughner shot these people, but I got another guy over here, I'll just pick him. No, wait a minute. We have laws in the Constitution that guarantee fair trials. But what about the lady, Susan Lindauer, who worked for the CIA, who's making these YouTubes about the 9/11, and they come and arrest her and lock her up without a charge under the Patriot Act, which proves the Patriot Act is completely unconstitutional on its face. Okay? You see what's going on here? This is like in broad daylight. We have the internet, we have this YouTube thing, we have TV, we have all this communication. It's all filmed. Just like the 9/11, the entire crime was filmed. Okay? And they don't want to admit that George Bush and John Ashcroft and all these people involved in the government did this on purpose to instigate 2 wars. That's why they did it. They murdered these people in the Trade Center. They dropped the building right on top of them. They had planted the explosives. You see, so the American people want to stay in their fantasy land. They're so arrogant they can't admit what's going on. They think, oh, and they're supposedly so smart. Maria Bartiromo tells all these people they're smart. But what about Maria Bartiromo? How smart could she possibly be? She's an idiot. She's a complete imbecile with her beautiful eyes, gorgeous face, absolutely gorgeous, just like Kim Kardashian, another nitwit that people are watching. They can't get enough of Kim Kardashian. She is beautiful. There's no question about it. But how about any kind of content? It doesn't matter. She's a complete imbecile. And she's making money by the bucket load. Millions and millions of dollars on her clothes and her perfume. And she's gorgeous. Okay? But that's not a crime. Jared Loughner murdered 12 people. He's still not. He could have been tried. Speedy trial. Let's go. It's a simple case, okay? There's a lot of simple cases, including this Wall Street stuff. It's simple. I could convict these people in no time flat. In no time flat, what they did. The evidence is right there. So say, oh, can we possibly convict them for the Wall Street fraud? And Angelides gives these crazy answers, and they all smile. What are they smiling about? Oh, they fooled everybody? Did they fool me? No, they didn't. Did they fool themselves? Well, they're doing the same thing Paterno did, right? Then we have the Casey Anthony case. We have Dr. Henry Lee, the great wizard genius that was told by law enforcement, this is by bias in his book, okay, which I know he told lies. I'm going to assume this isn't a lie. Everything isn't a lie, just because he told some lies. So he says that law enforcement pressured Henry Lee to get off the case. So in other words, Casey Anthony doesn't get the proper defense, right? Because law enforcement wants to protect this crazy witch hunt down there in Florida. So they don't want Henry Lee to do it, supposedly. But anyway, Henry Lee stands there and looks at the garbage that was in her trunk. Why would there be garbage in her trunk? I mean, come on. Nobody even asked the question. Of course there's garbage in the trunk because George Anthony put the body of the kid Kaylee, after he molested her and murdered her, into the trunk of her car, into Casey's car, so that would plant the smell in Casey's car to get her convicted and executed. That was what was going on there. Okay? So you see how this witch hunt goes on, and covered up by her defense attorney, who got an acquittal. Okay? But she's hiding because people want to kill her because they don't know that her father murdered the kid. Okay? And why did he do it? And they claim that, oh, she wanted to go to bars. She's a bar fly. So that's why she killed her kid that she was nuts about, that she took care of, that everybody testified to that. Okay? So it's like, this doesn't count. Justice is irrelevant. It's all these people. Judge Perry, he's going along with the prosecutor on everything and anything. He's going against the defense the whole trial. Yeah? I mean, this is like a complete, total witch hunt from top to bottom. But why is Casey Anthony not calling the FBI and fingering George, that she knows was in the house, who murdered the kid, who brought the kid in soaking wet after he dunked the kid in the pool to trick Casey into believing that she was neglecting the kid and the kid drowned. And George Anthony later put the ladder up on the swimming pool so that when Cindy came in from work, she saw the ladder up, and then she went back to work and she said, the ladder's never up, but the ladder was up. Okay? So there you go. She didn't drown. He dunked her in the pool. Is this too tricky for Bias? I don't think so. Bias is a very, very brilliant lawyer. All right? Or is it too tricky, this simple stuff about the bag of garbage and the ladder on the pool? Huh? This is physical evidence. There's no doubt about it. Why deny the stink when he put the body in the trunk to frame her? Why not use Dr. White's, who wanted to go after George because he was guilty of murdering a kid, but Bias says no. Bias says he can't convince the jury of the actual truth. I guarantee I could convince the jury of the actual truth, and nobody would question the fact that she was totally innocent. She was nailed and framed by her father, and now she's hiding because of Bias. And Bias wrote his book. Come on, man. Let me tell you something. I'm wondering when people are going to start thinking about how stupid and arrogant they are. And that is why the United States of America is collapsing.